So what you're saying is,
Yeah.
you'd marry Clay.
Ollie is sexy, yes.
He is pretty.
Yes.
He's pretty sexy. Bigspin Podcast. I am Chris, and I am here with Fingerboard's adoptive long-lost father, owner of Canada's biggest, and not to mention the one and only raddest fingerboard shop, 6Skate. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Vito. How's it going?
It's going good. Thank you. What an introduction.
You like that?
Man.
I've been working on that last night.
That's good.
You like that?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Dude. Okay, before we get started, because there's a lot we want to talk about.
Yep.
I obviously want to talk about the history of 6Skate. I obviously want to talk about everything you've done for the Canadian fingerboard scene. But first, it's important that we talk about where we're at right now physically. Where are we?
We are at 6Skates physical shop.
Yeah.
Fingerboard shop, one of the only ones in Canada. Well, the only one in Canada.
Yeah.
And we're in the store.
I love it. And I'm here because of you, because you graciously invited Jake and I to your event. Talk to me about what's going on this Saturday.
This Saturday, Boards by the Beach at Woodbine Beach in Toronto. It's a yearly event we do. This is the fourth one. We bring the parks out, pizza, prizes, drinks, water. It's a way for myself and Dave from Pyro Wheels to give back. Shadow Pyro to give back to the community that's supported us and allowed us to do all this.
I love it.
The past few years.
And this is the fourth one?
Fourth one, yeah.
I love it. We're going to get into all things 6Skate. But we got to talk about one story I heard last night from a previous Boards on the Beach. Tell me about the beach hug.
The beach hug.
The beach hug.
I thought you said beach hug.
No.
Whered you hear about that one?
Oh, yeah. No, that's for another pod.
That's another pod.
Yeah.
All right. So we're setting up for Boards by the Beach 1.
Okay.
All right. So put my coffee down. And as you'll find out tomorrow, there's going to be bees or wasps and bees galore everywhere. So watch your drink. Put my coffee down. A wasp made its way down inside the coffee. I'm done setting up. Take a nice swig. Relaxation. This is my prize for all the hard work. And swallowed the wasp.
Really?
Yep. The wasp stung my throat. Spit out the wasp. Stepped on the wasp and did the event.
Really?
Yeah.
That is brutal. And wait, so what happened after?
It was just like the adrenaline took me through like the 5 hours, so it was definitely uncomfortable. And then screaming and yelling and then doing the giveaways and stuff didn't help.
Bro, if I swallowed a bee and it stung me in the throat, I would probably cease to exist in that moment.
The show must go on, as they say.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Vito, every good story starts somewhere, obviously.
Yeah.
I want to talk about 6Skate, want to talk about everything you got going on, but we got to get to know the man behind 6Skate.
All right.
So I want to start with a couple questions about yourself. I want to start with the story of young Vito. Talk to me about where it starts. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Toronto, East York. So this area over here is where I grew up, just down the street. Skateboarding was the teenage and childhood thing. Yeah,
I like that.
That's what we did every day. There was a group of us in the neighborhood, and we just skated all the time. That's it. And this was mid to late 80s. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it safe to say that in school you were always just kind of like a skater kid?
Skater kid, yeah, but it was kind of different back then.
Yeah.
So there wasn't too many skaters. I think maybe there was like 3 skaters in the whole school.
As far as like outside of school, did you do any like early on, right?
Yeah.
Were there any jobs or anything like that kind of led up to you essentially knowing that you wanted to essentially create something more? Like you just didn't want to be serving drinks at Tim Hortons?
Tim Hortons.
Like that?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So we've always had like an entrepreneurial spirit. Starting like little businesses when I was younger. We used to airbrush pot planters and and sell them to friends and family. They were gracious enough to give me a $5 bill or whatever for a nice airbrushed pot. We used to look for like hard to find CDs and just CDs in general. Back in the early 90s, it was tough to find them. They were like $25 at the store. So, find them at thrift shops or buy collections and flip them that way.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you've always been kind of a go-getter, just kind of out there, just doing your thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And I've actually seen your airbrush skills with the bunny, the pink bunny in front of your house.
Yes, yeah.
I like that.
Like that,
little pink and blue bunny.
Yep.
I like that. Okay. Let's jump into talking about skateboarding, because I feel like everything that you got going on here kind of starts with skateboarding in a lot of ways. Describe your first skateboard to me.
First skateboard was a Veriflex skateboard. We were on vacation in Florida with my mom and my grandparents, and I guess I nagged them enough to go to the department store, and we bought a skateboard. So that was the very first one. It was like a thin pig board. So there was no concave. It had like the pig nose,
totally flat.
and flat, but it was only like 8 inches wide. Yeah. So it was kind of weird for that era, but that was the very first. Yeah.
What was your first experience with skateboarding like? Like what kind of made you say like, hey, I want to skateboard?
Just my friend John. He lived like two houses away from my grandparents, and we just got into it at the same time. I don't know what like the exact impetus was. I don't remember what the spark was, but we got into it at the same time, and it was just fueled our journey. We had another friend named Ron, and we kind of became the team and
go with it.
Yeah, go with it. And there was probably around 10 of us in the neighborhood, and we like hung out, went to the schoolyard, built ramps. Yeah,
I like
so it was
that.
fun.
I like that. Talk to me about your favorite skateboarding company growing up.
Favorite skateboarding company would be Brand X.
Oh,
Yeah, so that was the very first like pro board I got was a Brand X Sean Goff, and actually just recently got the reissue for that. I've been waiting like 25 years for that reissue to come out.
Dude.
So shout out to Brand X for doing that.
That's sick.
So I'll show you when we get back to the house. It's in the
yeah.
closet. Yeah. So that was my first board, and it was by luck that they were $5 cheaper than any other pro boards up on the wall. So that's the one.
That's the one
I
we
grabbed.
got.
Yeah.
I like that. What about do you have any favorite pro skaters?
Christian Hosoi.
Yeah. Okay.
Christian Hosoi was awesome. Tony Hawk, obviously.
Obviously.
It was the heyday Lance Mountain, all the old Powell pro
Lance
riders. Lance Mountain.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, people credit him for being the founder of fingerboarding.
Yep.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
sick.
super sick.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. As far as for, everyone who skates, right, especially like in an area like in your city, right, everyone has that like home shop, like your local shop. Did you grow up having a local skate shop? And if so, what was that shop?
Definitely. It was actually close to here. It was called Hogtown Skateboards.
Okay.
Yeah, so all the OGs from Toronto will remember that. Most people got their first skateboards from Hogtown, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, when you kind of hang out at a skate shop when you're younger, it kind of teaches you like a lot of lessons and skate shop etiquette and stuff like that. Obviously, we haven't talked necessarily about your store, but do you feel like a lot of the lessons you learned there as a young skater kind of transitions over to your shop now?
For sure, yeah. So we try to like teach the younger kids to the proper etiquette and be respectful but still have fun, and it's the same types of things we learned at the skate shops. Yeah,
I like that. Bridging the gap now between fingerboarding and skateboarding. Question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that it is possible for someone to fully love and appreciate fingerboarding if skateboarding was never really their thing or something they were into?
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, it's the same but different, right? There's the same. You just got the same language. It's got the same feel. It's got the same aesthetics, but not everybody is physically able to skateboard either for just reasons of agility or nerve, or so this gives them fingerboarding gives them the outlet to be creative in that way. So I think it's definitely a possibility, and I know a lot of people do it.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, talk to me about your first experience with fingerboarding.
First experience was with the plastic keychain. This is so cliche, obviously.
Yeah.
The plastic keychain, like the vision boards with the paper graphics inside.
Okay.
Yeah. So we used to do our own graphics and then like crack them open and put them in to replace the vision graphics. After that, in the mid 80s, I think 1986 or so, McDonald's came out with a Happy Meal toy, the Muppet Babies. Yeah, so that's like the first kind of like not real fingerboard, but most realistic fingerboard early on. I put a piece of grip tape on it, cut the little knob that Kermit's foot went in, and it was like a fingerboard. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. So it's safe to say that it occurred to you early on that you can actually do the same tricks on a skateboard that you can do on a fingerboard.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
It was more of a button mashing technique, like in video games. You know, you mash the buttons until something good happens.
Yeah.
That was the style. But
The little flick and pray.
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, so you're flicking and praying you're gonna land on it, but there was no intention to do whatever trick came out.
Okay, I like that.
For myself, anyways. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, everyone starts somewhere. So, okay, so you started with the plastic decks. Talk to me about how much of a role Techdeck played in like your fingerboard journey.
So Techdeck was a huge part of a previous business we had. We used to have a toy store, and it was one of the brands we carried in.
Okay.
And at the time, my nephews were about that age where they were into it. So, you know, I would go over to their house and bring them one or two, or they would come to our place, and I'd show them like the pop and pray techniques, and they'd be blown away. So it was always something that was there. Again, even at that point, this was 2000s to 2005, it didn't click in my head that, you know,
this was something
like this. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your first pro fingerboard setup.
First pro fingerboard setup would be one that I made myself. So the deck was one that I made, and then I think it was Black River trucks, and I forget the wheels right now. But
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Some BRTs on it though.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. I wanted to ask about the being that you're born and raised in Toronto.
Yep.
I wanted to ask about the early fingerboard scene, if there was any at all, and the connection between skaters and fingerboarders at that time.
Scene wise, I know there was a scene pre-COVID. I wasn't involved in that. Sid, who you met, was kind of a pioneer in the area here. There was some people out in Brantford doing events, and event-wise, like I said, this is before my time in the scene here, so it wasn't something I was too privy of. I wasn't sure. I don't know what really was going on then.
Okay. What about like growing up though? Was there a scene like when you were younger with the plastic boards?
No.
Just you and a couple friends?
Yeah, not even. It was more of something to do at home or in between skating. It wasn't like we didn't go out with the fingerboards to sesh in between our grinds and slams.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we've kind of covered your background, right? It's clear fingerboarding as well as skateboarding is a huge passion of yours. Now let's move on to talking about 6Skates. I did a deep dive on 6Skates Instagram last night.
Oh boy!
And yeah, a couple things that I found here. It says that you first posted on Instagram March 3rd, 2017.
Yeah.
Within the first few posts, you actually hinted at making recycled skateboard products, right?
Yep.
Shortly after the original post, the name 6Skates was announced on September 24th, 2017.
Cool.
Before we talk any more about the recycled skateboard stuff, talk to me about the name 6Skates.
Toronto's known as the Six. So you're gonna make me say it, aren't you?
I'm gonna make you say it.
No. So there was an artist, a pop artist that resides in the city here in Toronto, and he coined the term.
I wouldn't say pop. I wouldn't disrespect.
What would you
Drake
say?
And say it. I would call him the GOAT. Six God. Okay, go ahead.
We've had this discussion already.
I like that.
Yeah.
So wait, so are you saying that Drake named 6Skate?
No. Oh.
Talk to me. Where does a 6Skate come from?
Six comes from area code 416 in Toronto. So that's the original area code.
Okay.
So that's the short form.
Short form. I like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it says before 6Skate was best known for being a huge, obviously, fingerboard one-stop shop, you were focused realistically on, like recycled fingerboard products.
Yep.
Or not fingerboard products, excuse me, skateboard products.
Yeah.
Talk to me about where your passion to kind of reuse some of those old boards. Because in a previous interview, I heard that you would go to skate shops, you would look for used skateboards that were in relatively good condition, and you would recycle those into a bunch of different products.
Yeah, so we'd make them into like cruiser decks if they were structurally sound, and if not, we'd break them down into like rings or keychains or different things like that. So that comes out of my work, so my full-time job. So I work in solid waste management services, and at the time I was hugely involved in the recycling program for the city of Toronto, and processing all the recyclable materials and just the sustainability and all those aspects of waste management. So like there's nothing really going. There is some stuff going on with skateboards, but with the amount of skateboards that get used and thrown out every year, it's just a wasted resource. The amount of time that goes into making these and money can be repurposed into something else, and that was the main focus at the time of 6Skates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would take like a normal size skateboard that was used, and you would cut it down in like a cruiser shape.
Cruiser shape. I have one in the back there.
We gotta check it out after. And so how? Talk to me about the graphics. Were you getting them like screen printed on? Were you doing the whole like heat transfer?
So I would
painted
grind.
on,
I
or-
would first thing I would do is obviously take the grip off, and then I would sand down the graphic layer just to take a look to see if there was any structural problems with the deck that I couldn't see from the top or the side. And after that, I would sketch out the design I wanted. We'd cut it out, finish it off, and then either clear coat it or put our stamp on it, or do a silk screen, simple design, or spray or something like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's safe to say that obviously was the kickoff of 6Skates, right? Also taking a look at your Instagram, I realized that June 6th, 2020 was the first time fingerboarding was mentioned on your Instagram.
Yeah.
And you posted what looked like the first ever 6-skate fingerboard.
Okay.
Okay. Aside from your obvious history with recycling skateboards, talk to me now about when you kind of transitioned over, or not so much transition, but when you kind of made the decision, like, hey, I want to press fingerboards. How did that come about?
So I started to see a lot of fingerboarding stuff in the feed, and I thought it was cool, obviously, and I was trying to thinking on how to incorporate the recycled skateboards into something like that. So we started making rails out of recycled skateboards, and it didn't really hit for me. And then just the rabbit hole got deeper and deeper. I found that you could get a mold, and yeah, so that's the avenue we took. We actually had one of our team riders, Dragon. He came to a yard sale we had. He lived close to us, and he made me a fingerboard pressed out of two Techdecks.
That's old school.
Yeah, so that was the first wooden fingerboard. And yeah, so it all kind of happened at once and grew into this crazy thing you see here now.
Yeah, absolutely. So in regards to the first deck you made, right? So with fingerboarding, especially back then, because now it seems like resources and information are much more available. But even a couple of years ago, it seems like all the trade secrets when it comes to making like a decent board were pretty much kept under wraps. So at that time, what was your biggest resource, or how did you kind of get all the information in regards to making a half decent fingerboard?
It was a trial and error. So the mold was the easy part because I think we bought it off of eBay, 3D printed mold, and finding the veneers was a little tricky. But once we found a supplier in Toronto, there's like a specialty woodworking supplier, Lee Valley it's called, and they had veneers that happened to be the perfect
size.
Yeah, perfect diameter, perfect width.
Yeah.
And it's just trial and error. First we did with wood glue, and that was like kind of mid. And then I tried the polyurethane Gorilla style glue, and it, as soon as I saw it bubbling up, I knew that's what everybody uses because you saw the same.
Yeah, it's all the same foam.
Yeah, I saw the same foam on.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you still make fingerboards for 6Skate? And if so, or if not, why don't you essentially do that?
I probably do a couple of drops a year. It's just so time consuming. Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to all the board makers out there. Who can keep the consistency.
Who can keep up with it.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say that when 6Skate was kind of being tied into fingerboarding, it was in your mind going to turn into a deck company, but then ultimately turn into something much bigger?
That's what happened. Yeah. So I thought I was going to make decks, and we started making decks in 3D printed deck racks. So that was the first incarnation, and then it happened across the Black River and their website, and noticed there was nobody distributing in Canada. And then my Vito mind took over and said, why not?
Yeah, hit them up.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Obviously, there's a lot of fingerboard brands all over the world, right? Or there's a lot of fingerboard stores, I should say, right? Like online stores. some brands, well, I should say it like this: most brands would benefit, at least financially, from having only an online store, right? A lot less overhead, less rent, and stuff like that. Talk to me about the decision to create a storefront for 6Skate, and what would you say are the benefits of having a storefront, and can you speak on any downsides of having a storefront?
So the storefront was kind of a given even after our first event. So we used to hold events across the street in the park.
Okay.
So I made the kind of like sketchy parks that you guys seshed last night.
Yeah.
I made like 3 or 4 of them, and then I'd bring them to the park along with whatever product I had, and people would show up, and we'd sesh for a few hours, and everybody was awesome. Everybody was great. Everybody had a good time, and then everybody wanted to know when's the next event. We want to get together, and more people used to come every month, and also used to do like drop-offs at like the transit station. So someone would order online and say, I want to pick that up. Do you have a store or whatever? I said, I got no shop. I work out at home, but I can meet you at Coxwell Station. And when someone buys or picks up a fingerboard, it's all smiles. Like I haven't seen anybody pissed off handing when you're handing them a fingerboard. So it was kind of like inevitable ever since then, that we were gonna open up a physical shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that opening a fingerboard storefront is for everyone?
I would say it's not for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, we're lucky to live in Toronto, or in the GTA proper. There's 6 million people, so you have a good run through of walk through traffic. Yeah, if you live in a small town, or not even a small town, if you live in a small city, then it might not be something that's feasible. Yeah.
Okay. Any downsides?
I can't think of
No downsides.
Not,
Yeah, I mean,
not nothing worth mentioning. No, like the people that come in here are great. We've made friends.
Yeah.
Through the shop. Regulars we have coming in every week, like new faces every week. People drop out and then come back 6 months later, and it's like you saw them last week. So it's that's the main reason we do it, is just
for the community.
I'm a little selfish too, to have a place to hang out.
Yeah, there you go. Be fingerboarding during the day.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay. And so correct me if I'm wrong, but this is not the first location, right?
This is the second one. Yeah.
Talk to me about the first location.
So the first location was a proof of concept. We found a smaller than this, believe it or not, space.
Really?
In a mall. Yeah, really.
Giving the mini mart a run for its money.
Yes,
huh?
yeah.
Okay.
It was probably about the size of the mini mart.
Yeah.
Maybe double the size on the inside.
On the inside.
Yeah, it was in a sketchy little mall in Chinatown. No air conditioning, as we are right now, but
roasting.
There's no air conditioning. It was like only every third light was on in the whole mall.
Wow.
But the rent was cheap, and the landlord let me sign like a 6-month lease, so there was nothing to lose. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Proof of concept.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so it's seen after being here, right? Even just for one day and hanging out with you at different events and stuff like that, it seems like family is such a huge part of 6Skate. Talk to me about the importance of having your family, like your wife and kids, play such a huge role in the 6Skates brand.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do it without them, for sure. My wife supports all the shenanigans, and she never bats an eye or says no, or
she's
like,
awesome.
where you going, or anything like that. She never gives me any shit for any of this stuff. So that's number one. And you met Dom.
He's great.
He's the face of 6Skates.
Yeah.
When he's got a day off and I'm here, everybody's like, "Where's Dom? Where's Dom?" Way to make me feel like.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen enough Vito. Where's Dom?
Yeah. Like, where's Dom? Yeah. So, and he seems to enjoy it. So.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, do you have you have a daughter, right?
Of course, that was
So
the
it's a whole
next
family
words
affair?
out of my mouth. Yeah,
Okay.
Victoria, she's helping out right now. We're trying to figure out some stuff to expand our distribution. So she's working on that right now.
I like that.
Yeah, and she's been to a couple events too. She did USA FBL event. We couldn't make it to the one in Vegas a couple of years ago, so her and my sister Adriana went and did that for us. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So 6Skate, total family affair.
family affair. Yeah.
I love it. Talk to me about the importance of having a team, right? Like a shop team. And I ask because there's some brands who don't necessarily have a team or don't see the benefits of having a team. If you had to speak directly to those brands and kind of pitch the idea of why they should have a team, What would you say?
The team has always been a tricky thing for me. We did a team, I think, in the first year of 6Skates, and it didn't really work out because I didn't have the time to manage it. Everybody was in different geographical areas, and so we kind of closed down the team. And I think it was a year into, maybe 6 months into the shop here, you know, Dom looked at me one day, and I looked at him, and kind of like popped in our brain at the same time. It's time to do a team again. But for us, it was important that the team was all locals.
Okay.
So everybody on the team is a local. So they come into the shop. We give them product to test. You know, there's no expectations that they only have to ride like 6Skate stuff. They can do what they want. But it's more like just like a close knit group of friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. What is one or even a couple lessons about starting your own business that you wish you knew up front that maybe someone who's looking to start their business could put to good use?
The thing I have the most difficulty with is delegating tasks outside of the family, like for business services. So that's something I'm working on still, like accounting services and marketing and all
trying not to do everything yourself.
Yes, that's the number one thing, is to get help where you don't know what you're doing or you don't have time to learn.
I like that.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to ask for help.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Yeah. And you're going to make mistakes. Yeah. Everybody makes mistakes, and you learn from the mistakes. And if you don't, you'll make the same mistake until you learn from it.
I like that. You'll just keep making the same mistake till you learn from it. I love it.
Yeah.
When it comes to being a brand owner, you seem very comfortable with embracing social media, and even doing some like content marketing with going live and doing unboxing and stuff. There's brands out there who struggle with embracing social media. Do you think in 2024 brands can successfully grow and prosper without embracing social media?
I don't think they can, and it's difficult for me. So it's not something that comes natural.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, it's something that doesn't come natural to me. But I know there's a lot of hate. People are not too keen on Instagram all the time, but without Instagram, we wouldn't be where we are today. And it's basically free, right? It's just the time you put into it.
I like that.
Yeah.
What advice, and it's, you know, that you mentioned that you're not totally comfortable with it. So somebody else who's not totally comfortable with it, what advice would you give them? Because obviously you've made the case for as to why it's important, but what advice would you give someone who maybe is just too nervous or it feels too out of their comfort zone? What can you kind of speak on that would maybe help them make the decision to just go live and do an unboxing or make boards on live or just kind of promote their brand? Any tips or tricks?
So what I do most of the time is make the content and then forget about it. Like I don't listen to it or go back and fret over the fumble that I made like earlier in this podcast.
Yeah.
That happened. It's gone. And I'm
gone.
Yeah. It's like I have never listened back to any of the podcasts that I've done in the past. So we'll see. Go. Maybe this one we'll listen to.
Maybe this one you're going to listen to. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. So just do it. And then if you hate the sound of your voice, don't listen to your voice.
Don't listen back to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously in the past we've done, you've done 6Skate Fingerboards, right? I also noticed on Instagram you've had 6Skate.
Yep.
Right? So having said that, are there plans to keep expanding 6Skate as like its own in-house brand with decks, Crete, maybe, I don't know, apparel, trucks and stuff like that? Or what's the long game plan for that?
The long game plan is expansion, yes, world domination of the fingerboard scene.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a bunch of new things in the works. I'm working on a revision of our budget decks. So we have shop decks now. They're just blanks. So we're working at getting them with graphics on them and in a nice box. We're also working on a licensing deal with some artists to do an artist series. So we have three artists lined up, and not necessarily in the fingerboard scene, but they're semi-well-known artists. So we're looking at doing that, expanding and maybe doing our wheel drop again. So we did a quick little wheel drop maybe about a year and a half ago. So getting into that, 6Skate, doing more concrete. Yeah, just got to put it all on the calendar and plan out how it's gonna happen.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay. So transitioning away from 6Skate, I do want to talk about Fingerboard Con.
Okay.
All right, because it looks like, there you go, shameless plug.
Yep.
And then shameless plug, this awesome Slush Cult new Paul Frank merch, which has a sweat stain on it. Shout out Clay. So the reason I bring up Fingerboard Con is because when I've talked to our friends at Black River, when I've talked to our friends at Slush Cult, who are also a part of Fingerboard Con, they all kind of have the same sentiment that you, Mr. Vito, are the Fingerboard Con godfather. That was your baby idea.
It was like I said, anybody can have an idea, but it's who you surround yourself to execute the idea to make it happen. That's important.
I like it.
Yeah. So like ideas are a dime a dozen, right?
Okay.
It's just execution. So
you just
I
have to execute it.
appreciate the sentiment, but without the team, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Talk to me about where the idea though of a Fingerboard Con came from, because I mean obviously it seems like the obvious, you know what I mean? Like it seems like, oh, there's a Comic Con and there's a Disney this and that, you know, but when it comes to fingerboarding, what was that? Talk to me about that moment that you said, okay, like there needs to be a Fingerboard Con. What did that look like for you?
So in another life, I was a huge Hot Wheels collector.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're into collecting Hot Wheels, you know there's 2 conventions per year. So it's like a multi-day. I think they're up to like 5 days of Hot Wheels mayhem. 10 floors of the hotel booked. And there's like events, poker games, dinners, bingo, seminars. So it's a huge deal in the Hot Wheel collecting community. And I had so much fun doing that over the years. Just going to, like I've been to Orange County for a convention there, Chicago. It was like Michigan. They're all over the states. So I saw that and thought to myself, there's no reason why we can't do this in fingerboarding.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the spark.
That was a spark.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Talk to me about the importance of bringing on, and you kind of already mentioned how, you know, obviously it was your idea, but you kind of went to Black River and Slush to execute it. But talk to me about the importance of bringing on companies like Black River and Slush Cult. And does this speak back to what you said in regards to asking for help when you needed to kind of execute a good idea?
Yeah.
What was that like approaching Black River and Slush Cult with this idea?
For sure it was. So I like I said, there was always in the back of my mind this Hot Wheels convention, and then I went to Rendezvous. I forget the number, 32 maybe, and it was a great event. After the event, I just sat in the hotel room by myself, and I said maybe this is a good combination. Fingerboard Con with paired with the Rendezvous. You know, there's people around that are also sitting there in hotel rooms. You know, there's no reason why we just can't be hanging out in fingerboarding.
Yeah.
So that was the second spark that made me contact Black River, because I knew they had a relationship with Mike and Flatface to see if they could do some smooth talking and convince him into taking his ramps.
Okay.
And piggybacking on his
piggybacking on the parks.
Yeah, piggybacking on the parks.
And the event.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the event. So they were on board to try and do that, and it's just so happened that at the same time they were planning their California tour, and Ollie said, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. We have 1 month. Why don't we plan one for California?"
Okay.
Yeah,
Fingerboard Con 1.
Yeah, Fingerboard Con 1, proof of concept.
I love that.
Yeah,
Proof of concept.
So we threw it together, and Fingerboard Con 1 happened, and I think we all liked it. So
It was great.
2 was a no-brainer.
2 was a no-brainer,
Yeah.
which brings you to my next question. It kind of seems like 3 is a no-brainer.
3's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with the success we've had, or that you've had, with Fingerboard Con 1, Fingerboard Con 2.
You've been a part of it.
Thank you.
You can say that.
Thank you for asking me to be a part of them. I loved it. Hopefully I can work with y'all in the future.
No problem.
If by chance there's a third one, that'd be awesome. I'd imagine there is going to be. So it's so the next question here says, with the success of Fingerboard Con 1 and 2, I'd imagine there's going to be a Fingerboard Con 3. Are there any details that you can share with us today regarding Fingerboard Con 3?
There's going to be a Fingerboard Con 3.
That's good. Yeah. That's enough. You should see Jake's face. There he goes.
Yeah, it's happening.
Okay.
I think we have a meeting next week, discuss some things. We'll talk about timelines on when to
I love it.
Tease out the information. But definitely this year is going to be much longer lead time. That was our objective for the next one, is to give people some more time to plan, book flights, call in sick.
Yeah, I was about to say, because the biggest the biggest, there's two big gripes, right, on the internet when it comes to Fingerboard Con.
Oh, yes.
One is that the last one, and even maybe the first one, I think I seen something about the first one, but they weren't announced like with much time for people to make arrangements. So are we going to address that for Fingerboard Con 3?
Yes.
Okay.
It's going to be addressed.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yes.
So we can count on a couple month advance notice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
At least 3 months, 4 months, maybe
Okay,
even
that's
5.
perfect.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's the objective, is to get some lead time.
I like that. So
And
that's
polish it up a little bit, a little more professional.
Oh yeah, No, I like it. We got to get a PA system for Fingerboard Con 3.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
gonna.
That's I will delegate that to you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
We'll delegate that to
that's
Clay.
good, great.
We'll
So
put a pin in it.
Clay will delegate that to you.
What's the business term that people say when they're in meetings?
We'll circle back. Yes, we'll circle
Put a pin in
back.
it. We'll circle back. My people will call your people about the PA.
Yep.
All right. That's one gripe. The whole when you announce it.
Yep.
The second gripe is that there's a large group of people who feel like Fingerboard Con should be kept as a West Coast event, being that the East Coast has such a huge event like Rendezvous twice a year. What do you say to those people who want to keep Fingerboard Con on the West Coast once, maybe twice a year?
It's the decision is made purely by logistics and location of parks. So you saw how many parks we had.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah. So it's either going to be in somewhere that has a lot of parks, or it's not going to be anywhere. Right?
I like that.
Yeah.
Any chance in the future
Yep.
that we see an international Fingerboard Con?
Hey, never say never.
Never.
You got your passport now.
I do got my
There
passport,
you
not
go.
my ID.
You don't need your ID.
Yeah.
Passport's the top level ID.
I love that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Transitioning now, so we talked about 6Skate, Fingerboard Con. We talked about all your credentials when it comes to skateboarding, fingerboarding, and how official you are. I want to ask you a couple questions in regards to Vito as a fingerboarder.
Yep.
Because aside from everything, also you're a fingerboarder. And we're not open yet. Thank you for that.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yeah, yeah. It's
We
awesome.
love it. But you know what? You can tell how busy you guys are. A bunch of people keep coming.
Yeah.
Business is good. Here we go. For Vito, do you have any current sponsors?
Current sponsors? No.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
As a brand owner, do you have any thoughts or opinions on owners of other brands making themselves pro?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Has this happened, or are you just
It's happened, and some people think that it's cool. Some people think that it's not cool. They wouldn't do it.
Can we give examples? I'm not aware of. Or we'd rather not.
Sure. We'll give an example.
Okay.
Only because it's already public knowledge, right?
Okay,
Not to
okay.
put everyone out there. But for instance, if you listen to the Awful podcast,
Okay.
Dylan mentions he would not make himself pro for Awful.
Okay.
Okay. If you listen to the Collier podcast,
Yeah.
Christian announced Jake was pro. And then the next
Congratulations,
week,
Jake.
Christian announced himself as pro for Collier. And he's the owner of the brand. Shout out both of them, by the way.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the question where it's just up for
It's just a personal
for
preference.
opinion.
Yeah. For me,
so what do you think?
Basically, you're the owner of the brand. You're like automatically pro, right? So what's the definition of pro? You're making, well, not making money. You are exchanging goods like fingerboards or wheels for fingerboarding. So if you're making money or making a gain from fingerboarding, you're automatically pro by being the owner of the brand. Does my logic make sense or no?
But by that logic, you're saying you're pro for 6Skates?
Fuck yeah, I'm pro for 6Skates.
Yeah, I love that.
No,
I like that. Okay.
I don't know. It's a toughie. It's
just
a
a matter
tough
of
one.
preference.
It's a matter of preference. Yeah,
I like that.
So does he have like his own graphic and everything?
Yeah, he does. And it's sick, by the way.
Yeah?
It is sick. Super sick.
Nice. Does he get an extra $5 for every graphic?
I know, right? I don't know. Does he pay himself?
Does he pay himself?
Dope. Well, we got to see.
Interesting.
Okay.
Congratulations on becoming pro.
There you go. Favorite flat ground trick on a fingerboard?
All right. So my fingerboard skills are very minimal.
Okay.
So I would.
No, you don't give yourself enough credit, though, because you rip. You rip. What did you, 117 bench finger? What was it?
117th worldwide.
At Fast
Yes.
Fingers?
At Fast Fingers.
That
21.
makes you, out of all the fingerboarders in the world, that makes you top 200, 117?
I think that's number one fingerboarder in Canada, if I'm not.
Yeah, that's right. That's number one in Canada. Who's coming for the throne?
Come get it.
Come get it.
Yes,
So
but-
that would make you Six God. There you go. Okay.
No.
Oh yeah. We'll leave that for.
Yeah, we'll edit that out.
Yeah. Cut that. Okay. Competing at Fast Fingers, obviously representing Canada.
Yes.
Give me the quick backstory behind that.
So I heard Ollie say that there's 27 countries that are represented in the competition.
Yeah.
And Canada was not one of them, so it was a no-brainer to make the 28th country Canada.
I love that.
Yeah.
Putting the 6 on your back.
That's it.
You're gonna make me say it again.
Thanks, no man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Thanks to you guys for the support too. It was fun. Yeah, it was super fun.
I loved it. Next question: have you ever seen Drake driving around the 6? Or
Yes. Yeah, he drove by our place last night. Yeah.
No.
But you were sleeping.
damn.
No, I've never seen. No one's ever seen him driving.
Okay,
Anymore, right?
but you did promise me on this trip we're gonna drive by his house.
Yes, we'll drive by later.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. What is your favorite, if any, Taylor Swift song? Not really a Taylor Swift fan.
Not Taylor Swift's fan. No.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
Ooh, put me on the spot. Honestly, this might come off as a hot topic, but Blank Spaces.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. It's a bop.
Nice.
It's a bop. Vito,
Yo.
I have some questions from the internet.
Nice.
The way we're going to do these questions is I want to, because some of them we may have already covered. So I want to give informative answers, but rather quick answers.
my best.
Because we're not trying to, obviously be here all day. We do got to open the store and get Jake to work.
Time check, Jake. Time check.
Yeah. I'm going to manage Jake today, by the way. So I'm going to rattle these off for you.
All right.
Okay. And you just give me a couple word answer. Okay. You got a couple here from the internet. Awesome. So here's what we got. This says, what makes you such a humble human being?
Humble human. What kind of a question is that?
I know. I thought you'd be happy as a humble human being.
A humble human being would not
They
be
love
happy
you.
to have that question told. No.
What do you think? Because to be fair, I get what you mean.
I
'cause you wanna say it about
apologize to the
yourself.
person who asked that question. It's very
No,
It's
listen.
a very nice question.
But a lot of people, right, always say nothing but good things about you. Before we met, I heard that Vito was at absolute best, and I can confirm Vito's absolute best.
I'm a good actor.
Yeah. There you go. Well, that's one way to answer that rad question.
There you go. Rad question. Shout
Yeah.
out to whoever answered.
Shout out. I won't say the name. I don't want to put him on blast.
Thanks for the question.
Any chance we're gonna get a 6Skate event hosted in Hawaii?
Hawaii. Oh,
Whole lot of freaking flyer miles.
not
Flyer miles. I don't know why I
like I said. I've said it before, but never say never.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
More Doom Lagoon exo ply.
Exos. We're working on the Exos, but there is a stock of regular Doom Lagoon in transit right now, so hopefully it'll be here today.
I love that.
Yeah.
How fast did he really go in that rental car in Germany?
185 kilometers per hour, because there was a limiter on the car. Otherwise, it would've gone a little faster.
I love that. Here we go. Last question from the internet. What keeps you motivated to keep pushing the Canadian fingerboarding scene?
It's just enjoyment, and it's fun to do. So we do it. That's it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Last portion of your Big Spin podcast interview. This is going to be no nuance takes.
No nuance.
Nothing but an answer.
We're getting canceled, are we?
Oh, this is definitely
that's
getting
all right.
canceled. I made sure to make sure they're all cancel proof.
I've been waiting.
I'm just gonna give you 2 words.
Okay.
You just pick as quickly as possible. Don't think about it too much.
All right.
I will say this. To be fair, most people don't get a pass. I will give you a pass just like I gave Clayton a pass because I understand you're business owners. So you can have
Got me thinking
one
already.
pass.
Yes.
One pass.
Okay.
Use it wisely.
All right.
All right. And you pick one or the other for everything else.
Okay.
Are you good? Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Skateboarding, fingerboarding.
Fingerboarding.
Burritos or tacos?
Tacos.
Apple or Samsung?
Apple.
Tim Hortons or Starbucks?
Starbucks.
Black River Dynamic.
Pass.
Canada or America?
Canada.
I love that. Yes, we Canada.
Yes, we Canada.
All right, I love that. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Fingerboard Con East or Fingerboard Con West?
You set me up.
You like that? You only got to skip one. So if you had to pick, I know it's not going to stay on one coast, but if you had to pick.
Well, I'm on the East Coast, so.
Another little heart crack.
But there's no. I don't have any input on the decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're the 6th guy. Okay, whatever. All right. We're going to wrap it up like this.
Set me up.
Are you ready for this?
You did me dirty.
No, heck no.
Yeah.
That just goes to show we need one in California. again. All right? Fuck, marry, kill. Are you ready for this?
Let's go.
Mike Schneider, Ollie the Fingerboard Hooligan, or Slush God. Fuck, marry, kill. Go.
Okay, so I would marry Clayton.
Okay.
Yeah.
So marry Clay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're gonna make me say it?
You have to say it.
No,
I don't want you to say it. I can say it for you because I
Huh?
kind of. Okay, just put it this way.
Okay.
Tell me who you'd kill.
Sorry, Mike.
Okay, so this is like the 10th time Mike has
apologize.
been killed on the pod. So
It's just because I don't know Mike as well, and it's
yeah, you wouldn't want to pipe him out if you don't know
would,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to like rail him and be like, oh, I don't really know you. Okay.
no,
okay.
it's the opposite. It was like the attachment for having him not around anymore is not the. Yes,
okay.
okay,
My
yes.
bad. Okay, I went. Okay.
Yeah, you're like
all right. So what you're saying is,
Yeah,
you'd marry Clay.
Ollie is sexy. Yes,
He is pretty.
Yes.
He's pretty sexy.
especially when he dyes his hair. It's very.
Oh yeah, the purple.
Yep.
Yeah, that got me. Okay.
Yeah. So, there
So
we
we're
go.
killing Mike, marrying Clay, piping Ollie, the Fingerboard Hooligan.
Yep.
I love it. Vito, 6Skates, you've reached the end of your Bigspin podcast. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Thank you for all you do for not just the Canadian fingerboard scene, but for the fingerboard scene everywhere. Thank you for including me in your events and Fingerboard Con and bringing me into your home. Jake and I are super thankful. And yeah, I hope to work with you many more times in the future.
Awesome. We'll see how you do tomorrow.
Yeah. Vito, 6Skates, Bigspin, Jake, thanks for helping out. Love you guys.
Thanks,
Like,
everybody.
comment, subscribe. Bam.